Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Data Playbook. We have our Week 11 Sunday games to go through now, so we're going to go through those one by one. So let's get into it. And now looking into another divisional game, you have Baltimore at Cleveland, where Baltimore's favored on the money line with a spread of 7.5 and a total line of 38.5. And then here's your team averages. And if we start with Baltimore's rankings, you have some pretty bad ones mixed in with some really good ones. You have a great rushing rank of 4. That's with Derrick Henry. Pretty good scoring rank, top third. But bottom third for almost everything else here. A passing rank of 26. Allowed passing rank and scoring rank all are bottom third. Allowed rushing ranks is below par 2. And their tight ends aren't great. For Cleveland, you have a bad scoring rank, but an okay allowed scoring rank. A pretty good passing rank. In fact, top 3 at defending the pass. Allowed rush rank, top third in the league. So that makes their defense pretty good, maybe top third defense, although this allowed scoring rank should not be that bad with these numbers. But that does come down to their offense, which is terrible. Maybe their offense is bottom third, so you have a very poor passing rank, really bad rushing rank. You do have a good tight end rank, surprisingly, but that's about all they have offensively. Taking a look at your quarterbacks, you have Lamar Jackson and Dylan Gabriel. Lamar Jackson averages 22.6 fantasy points per game, and Gabriel's averaged 9.6. Lamar Jackson has 1 interception this season, with 1 fumble loss due to sacks, and Dylan Gabriel has 2 interceptions this season. If we look at their averages now, and then their rushing carry share to look at how they impact the game, you have Lamar Jackson with 15.4% of the team's total rushing carry share, with an average of 5.8 carries per game, and 18% of the team's rushing yard share. Dylan Gabriel gets about 5.8% of the team's total carry share, and about 10.9% of the team's total rushing yard share. And then looking at the running backs, unfortunately with Quinshon Judkins, I still don't have it working. At one point during the week it was working, and now it's not again, of course, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll see if I can get that up and going. But otherwise we can look at Derrick Henry, who averages almost 13 fantasy points per game, has had 2 rushing fumbles this season. And if we flip over to the averages and look at his rushing carry share at 65.2% of the team's total carry share, and 58.7% of the team's total rushing yard share. Now for your number 1 receivers, you have Zay Flowers and Jerry Jeudy, with Zay Flowers averaging 13.2 fantasy points per game, and Jerry Jeudy averaging 7.5. The only turnover comes from Zay Flowers, with 1 receiving fumble, so otherwise we'll look at our averages. And then with the target share, you have Zay Flowers with 30.4% of the team's total target share, and then 37% of the team's total receiving yard share. For Jerry Jeudy, you have 21.7% of the team's total target share and 20.4% of the team's total receiving yard share. For Zay Flowers, he is the largest target and largest receiving share on the team, making him the number 1 receiver. For Jerry Jeudy, he's the largest targeted one, but not quite the largest on receiving yards, so he's kind of a sub wide receiver 1 in terms of how he's used in Cleveland. For your number 2 receivers, we have DeAndre Hopkins, because Rashad Bateman is out, and then Cedric Tillman. Hopkins averages almost 5 fantasy points per game, and Tillman averages 7.3. Neither receiver has any turnovers, so we'll look at their averages. And then their receiving share, with Hopkins getting about maybe 7 or 8% of the team's target share, and about maybe 12% of the team's total receiving yard share. And for these exact numbers, you can probably go back to the previous receivers and look at those numbers there, or we can look at them at the tight ends. With Tillman, you get about 7.9% of the team's target share and 7.1% of the team's receiving yard share. One of the things to note with Tillman is that he has been out for quite some time, just got back, so his numbers are due to change most likely since he's missed so many games. We finally have our tight ends with Mark Andrews and David Njoku. Mark Andrews gets an average of 9.4 fantasy points per game, and Njoku's been averaging 9.4 as well. With no turnovers between either of them, we'll look at their averages, and then we'll look at their target share, with Mark Andrews at 17.5% of the team's total target share and 14.4% of the team's total receiving yard share. With the Njoku, we can't quite see this number, but we know it's a little smaller than this, so it's probably about 15% of the target share, and then 17.1% of the team's receiving yard share. Again, you can go back and see this number if you need to know it. So there's all your numbers. I do agree with this being a fairly low-scoring game, because you have a pretty good defensive Cleveland, but just has no offense to back it up. But on Baltimore, you have kind of more mixed stuff with another bad defense and some decent offense here and there, but they're still going up against a pretty decent defense, so we'll have to see. It probably still favors Baltimore, but I think the line's a little heavy towards Baltimore rather than Cleveland just because of this defensive numbers. And there's your numbers for that game. I hope that you found it useful, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe, and otherwise comment on what else you want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next matchup.